The vastness of space stretched endlessly, punctuated by distant stars and drifting nebulae. The Zelvorian delegation's sleek ship glided silently toward a remote human outpost on the edge of known space. For years, the Zelvorians had studied humanity from afar, curious about the species that had sparked whispers among galactic civilizations. Whispers that spoke of remarkable resilience and unparalleled ambition. Captain Thalen stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the looming silhouette of the human station ahead. The structure was unlike anything his people had expected. Instead of a modest outpost or primitive base, it was a sprawling fortress of gleaming metal and pulsating energy fields. Towers bristled with weapons, and fleets of human vessels orbited in precise formations. "This is far beyond what we anticipated," Thalen said softly, his voice echoing in the quiet bridge. His second-in-command, Lyra, nodded. "Their presence here is no accident. This is a stronghold, not a mere research station." The ship docked smoothly, magnetic clamps securing it against the vast docking bay. Moments later, the airlock hissed open, and the Zelvorian delegation stepped into the imposing human station. They were greeted by a tall, confident human officer. His posture was straight, his gaze steady, and his voice carried a calm authority that immediately set the tone. "Welcome to Outpost Theta 9, he said. "I am Commander Elena Mason. We have been expecting you." Thalen exchanged a glance with Lyra. The humans had not only prepared for their arrival, but seemed to be anticipating more. There was no sign of fear or hesitation, only assured control. Elena led the delegation through corridors lined with advanced technology, displays showing star charts, fleet movements, and resource allocations. The Zelvorians marveled at the scale of the operation. It was clear that humanity ruled a vast network, and this outpost was a key hub. In a briefing room, human officers and advisors gathered around a holographic star map. Elena gestured at the glowing points representing dozens of star systems under human control. "We command over 200 systems, each with thriving populations and advanced fleets. Our coalition includes several allied species who have chosen to stand with us." The Zelvorians listened intently, their initial assumptions shattered. They had expected a fledgling civilization, struggling to survive among more dominant powers. Instead, they found a leader in the galaxy, a species that had not only survived, but flourished and expanded with unmatched vigor. Thalen asked cautiously, "What of your relations with other species? Are you not challenged by rivals or conflicts?" Elena smiled slightly. "Challenges are inevitable, but our strength lies in adaptability, innovation, and unity. We lead by example and by force when necessary. Few dare to oppose us, and fewer still succeed." The Zelvorians exchanged uneasy looks. Their culture valued diplomacy and caution, but these humans seemed different, bold, assertive, and unyielding. The briefing ended, but the Zelvorians were invited to witness a demonstration of human capabilities. They were escorted to a vast observation deck overlooking a busy starport, where massive human warships prepared for deployment. Elena explained, "This fleet patrols our borders, deterring threats and protecting our interests. We believe in readiness and overwhelming strength." As the Zelvorians watched, human ships launched with precision, joining formations and coordinating seamlessly. The display was a blend of strategic mastery and technological prowess. Lyra whispered to Thalen, "We may have underestimated them." Before their visit concluded, Elena spoke plainly. "You have made first contact with humanity. We extend friendship, but understand that we are the dominant power in this region. Cooperation benefits all who choose to align with us." Thalen stood, tall. "We came seeking allies, and we find rulers. We will need time to understand what this means for the Zelvorian people." As the Zelvorians prepared to depart, the impression they carried was undeniable. Humanity was a force unlike any other, ruling the galaxy not by chance, but by choice. The first contact was not a beginning for humanity. It was a continuation of a legacy written in stars. The Zelvorian delegation's ship drifted away from Outpost Theta 9, its sleek frame cutting through the void as the crew gathered in the ship's central chamber. Captain Thalen sat at the head of the table, his expression a mixture of awe and uncertainty. Around him, his officers whispered quietly, still digesting the magnitude of what they had witnessed. "This changes everything," Lyra said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We thought humans were newcomers, barely making a mark among the stars. Instead, they are the ones setting the rules." Thalen nodded slowly. "Their control over 200 star systems is unprecedented. And their fleets, the coordination, the power, it rivals anything we have seen." The Zelvorians had always prided themselves on diplomacy and subtle influence. But humanity's dominance was a different kind of force, a combination of unyielding resolve, technological advancement, and a fierce willingness to act. Thalen summoned his crew to a strategy meeting. "We must understand the foundation of their strength. How did humanity rise to such power? What drives them?" The crew began piecing together reports gathered from other species and intercepted transmissions. Stories emerged of humans surviving apocalyptic wars, harnessing devastating technology, and forging alliances through a blend of diplomacy and decisive action. Their reputation was a mixture of admiration and fear. One report described human soldiers who adapted swiftly to any battlefield, using ingenuity and relentless determination to overcome foes far stronger and better equipped. Another detailed humans' ability to innovate on the fly, creating solutions in moments that others spent years researching. Lyra shared a theory. Humanity's power isn't just in their weapons or fleets. It's in their mindset. They never accept defeat as final. They push forward, learn quickly, and refuse to be limited. Thalen considered this. It explains their rapid expansion and why so many species choose to ally with them rather than fight. The delegation resolved to send envoys to other human-controlled systems, seeking first-hand accounts from allied species. They hoped these allies could reveal more about the humans' leadership style and the values that bound the coalition together. At their next destination, a bustling trade hub orbiting a resource-rich planet, the Zelvorians met representatives from various species thriving under human protection. Each spoke with respect about humanity's role as a stabilizer in a chaotic galaxy. An Andari merchant explained, "Humans do not claim superiority through arrogance, but through results. They ensure safety, foster trade, and defend their allies, with unmatched commitment." A Kailari engineer added, "Their technology is impressive, yes, but it is their willingness to cooperate and share that makes them invaluable partners." The Zelvorians were surprised to find that human culture was complex and diverse, shaped by a history of conflict but tempered by a vision of unity and progress. It was a civilization that valued courage, innovation, and adaptability, qualities that resonated deeply with the Zelvorians' own ideals. Still, questions remained. Why had humanity concealed such vast power from most of the galaxy? And what were their ultimate goals? Back aboard their ship, Thalen reviewed intercepted communications indicating that humans were actively monitoring multiple rival factions, preparing for potential conflicts, yet striving to maintain peace through strength. He pondered aloud. They wield power responsibly but are prepared for war. They do not seek conquest for its own sake, but they will not hesitate to defend what they have built. The delegation agreed to report their findings to the Zelvorian Council, recommending cautious engagement. "We must proceed carefully," Thalen warned. "Humanity is unlike any species we have encountered. Underestimating them would be a grave mistake." As the Zelvorian ship continued its journey, the crew remained alert, their perspectives forever changed. First contact had revealed a truth both humbling and inspiring. Humanity was not merely another species among many, but a ruling force whose influence shaped the fate of countless worlds. For the Zelvorians, this revelation was both a challenge and an opportunity. They would need to decide whether to stand beside humanity or risk becoming obstacles in a galaxy where humans ruled with unmatched power. The Zelvorian delegation's doubts lingered, despite all they had witnessed. Stories of humanity's dominance were impressive, but such power demanded proof beyond star charts and diplomatic reports. Captain Thailand decided it was time to request a direct demonstration of human strength, one that could not be questioned. Back aboard Outpost Theta 9, Commander Elena received the Zelvorians' request with measured confidence. "A demonstration," she said, "is exactly what we intend to provide, not as a show of force, but as proof of our commitment to peace and security in this sector." The Zelvorian delegation was invited to accompany a human fleet on a mission to the volatile border system of Tyros 7, where marauders had been disrupting trade routes and threatening innocent colonies. It was a test of tactical skill, coordination, and resolve. The fleet assembled at dawn, a vast array of vessels ranging from nimble fighters to colossal cruisers, all gleaming under the twin suns of the system. The Zelvorians watched from the flagship's observation deck as humans and their allies prepared for deployment with practiced efficiency. Elena briefed the delegation. "This is more than a routine patrol. We aim to neutralize the raider threat swiftly and decisively." As the fleet launched, the Zelvorians marveled at the seamless communication between ships. Commands flowed fluidly, every vessel moving as part of a greater whole. The humans' ability to coordinate such a diverse fleet was unlike anything the Zelvorians had seen. Soon, sensors picked up raider ships emerging from hidden asteroid fields, their numbers overwhelming but disorganized. The battle began with precision strikes from human bombers, targeting supply lines and command vessels. Captain Thalen watched closely as the human fleet adapted rapidly. When the raiders shifted tactics, deploying faster attack ships to flank, human destroyers altered formation instantly, intercepting threats before they reached vulnerable targets. The Zelvorian engineer, Velas, noted, "Their strategy is fluid, almost instinctual. It is as if they anticipate the enemy's moves before they happen." Elena's voice crackled over comms. "Our advantage lies in adaptability and coordination. Every crew member understands their role, but also trusts in their teammates." The battle intensified as the raiders launched a desperate counterattack. Human fighters engaged in dogfights, their maneuvers precise and relentless. Ground forces deployed via shuttles to secure compromised colonies, working alongside allied species to restore order. Despite the chaos, the human-led fleet maintained discipline. Slowly, the raiders' cohesion broke, their forces scattered, or captured. As the final raider stronghold fell, the Zelvorians felt the weight of the demonstration. Humanity's power was undeniable, not just in technology, but in unity and determination. Captain Thalen approached Elena after the mission. "Your fleet's strength is impressive, but it is your leadership and cohesion that truly stand out." Elena smiled. "Thank you, Captain. We believe that power without purpose is empty. Our strength is a tool to protect and build, not to dominate without cause." The Zelvorians had come seeking proof, and they found more than that. They witnessed a species that had mastered not only war, but the art of alliance and trust. On the journey back to the outpost, the delegation's mood shifted from skepticism to cautious admiration. Lyra admitted quietly, "Humans are formidable, not only because of their ships, but because they refuse to be defeated, no matter the odds." Thalen agreed. "This test has changed our perspective. If humanity leads the galaxy, it is because they have earned it." As stars drifted past their viewport, the Zelvorians prepared to share their findings with their people. The first contact was no longer a simple meeting. It was the beginning of a complex relationship with a species that ruled the galaxy with unmatched power, and a promise of what cooperation could achieve. The Zelvorians had hoped that alliance with humanity would be straightforward. A union, based on mutual respect and shared goals. Yet, as they settled into diplomatic talks at Outpost Theta 9, the reality proved far more complicated. Human customs, blunt mannerisms, and unyielding pragmatism clashed sharply with the Zelvorians' subtle diplomacy and deep-rooted traditions. Captain Thalen and Commander Elena sat across from each other in the formal conference hall, the air thick with tension and unspoken challenges. Elena's direct gaze met Thalen's cautious eyes. "We lead with purpose, not pretense," she said. "Results matter more than ceremony." Thalen bristled, but maintained his composure. "In our culture, respect is shown through patience and understanding. Rushing decisions breeds mistakes." Elena leaned forward. "In the galaxy's harsh reality, hesitation can cost lives. Humans act swiftly because we must." The Zelvorians noticed that humans spoke plainly, sometimes bluntly, often prioritizing action over diplomatic niceties. This was foreign and, at times, uncomfortable to Zelvorian sensibilities, where subtlety was prized and words carefully chosen to preserve harmony. Lyra, serving as an intermediary, explained to her crew, "Human communication may seem aggressive, but it reflects honesty and efficiency. They believe clarity prevents misunderstanding." Still, the Zelvorians struggled to adjust. At a formal banquet, differences surfaced again. The humans preferred casual conversation and straightforward humor, while the Zelvorians adhered to ceremonial rituals and coded language. Misinterpretations led to awkward silences and minor offenses. Beyond communication, philosophical differences emerged. Humans viewed power as a responsibility, earned through merit, and defended fiercely. Zelvorians, while respecting strength, placed higher value on consensus and collective decision-making. An incident during a strategic meeting crystallized the divide. Humans proposed a rapid deployment to a troubled sector without the lengthy deliberations the Zelvorians expected. The Zelvorians hesitated, concerned about unforeseen consequences. Elena's response was firm. "We cannot wait while threats grow. Our enemies do not pause for debate," Thalen countered. "But swift action without full understanding can lead to disaster." The debate was passionate but respectful, highlighting the challenge of blending two cultures with different values and histories. Outside the conference rooms, small gestures began to bridge the gap. Zelvorian diplomats grew to appreciate human candor, seeing it as a form of trust. Humans, in turn, began to recognize the depth of Zelvorian wisdom and the strength in their patience. Shared experiences helped too. Joint training exercises revealed how human improvisation complemented Zelvorian strategic planning. Cultural exchange programs allowed younger members of both species to learn languages, arts, and histories, fostering empathy. Commander Elena, reflecting on the challenges, addressed her officers. "Understanding each other's differences is not weakness. It is the foundation for true partnership." Captain Thalen agreed. "If we can learn to navigate these differences, our alliance will be stronger than any force in the galaxy." The Zelvorians and humans realized that cooperation required more than treaties. It demanded openness to change, respect for diverse perspectives, and a willingness to grow together. As the days passed, the initial friction softened into a cautious but genuine camaraderie. The alliance was no longer just strategic, it was becoming personal. Though the path ahead was uncertain, both species knew that the galaxy's future depended on their ability to unite beyond cultural divides. And so, with patience and determination, Humanity and the Zelvorians continued to build the fragile yet promising bridge between worlds. One conversation, one gesture, one understanding at a time. Despite the growing alliance and fragile harmony, an unseen danger lurked in the shadows beyond the borders of human-controlled space. Rumors whispered through galactic channels told of a secretive faction, the Varkesh, whose goal was to destabilize the coalition and reclaim dominance in the region. Their methods were subtle but deadly: covert attacks, sabotage, and misinformation campaigns aimed at sowing distrust among allies. The Zelvorian delegation first encountered signs of this threat during routine communications monitoring. Strange. Signal disruptions and unexplained system failures were increasing near key trade routes and outposts. Captain Thalen grew concerned as reports confirmed growing incidents of raider attacks disguised to appear as rogue human factions. Back at Outpost Theta 9, Commander Elena received a classified briefing from her intelligence officers. The Varkesh have been striking in the shadows, targeting supply lines and critical infrastructure. They want to fracture the coalition before launching a larger assault. Elena's expression hardened. We cannot let them succeed. Their goal is to weaken us from within. Thalen and his delegation were invited to a secure war room where human and allied officers analyzed recent attacks. Screens displayed tactical maps dotted with red markers indicating strikes and suspected infiltration points. The Zelvorians. Notice the precision of the Varkesh strikes, well coordinated and designed to avoid direct confrontation. This enemy was not seeking open war but chaos. Lyra spoke up. They use fear and confusion as weapons. It's a psychological war as much as a physical one. Elena nodded. We have to be vigilant and proactive. Our coalition's survival depends on identifying and neutralizing this threat quickly. The humans proposed deploying joint reconnaissance teams, combining Zelvorian stealth technology with human firepower and intelligence networks. The Zelvorians agreed, recognizing the value of collaboration. Over the following weeks, operatives infiltrated suspected Varkesh territories. They gathered critical intelligence on enemy bases, supply caches, and command centers hidden in asteroid belts and uncharted systems. The Zelvorian engineer Velas worked closely with human technicians, sharing knowledge to enhance sensor arrays and improve countermeasures. This technical cooperation deepened trust between the species, even as the Shadow War intensified. One night, a distress signal interrupted the calm at Outpost Theta 9. A remote colony had come under sudden, brutal attack. Scouts reported overwhelming. Enemy forces far larger than expected. Elena mobilized the fleet immediately. This is no random raid. The Varkesh are escalating. Thalen volunteered Zelvorian stealth ships to support the defense, understanding the stakes. We fight as one. The battle was fierce. The Varkesh employed cloaking technology and hit-and-run tactics designed to confuse and divide. Yet the combined human-Zelvorian forces adapted quickly, coordinating through joint command centers and using advanced strategies refined through weeks of cooperation. As reinforcements arrived, the tide turned. The Varkesh forces were pushed back, their assault repelled with heavy losses. After the battle, Elena addressed the coalition leaders. This conflict has shown us the true nature of our enemy. They seek division, but we have proven that unity is our greatest strength. Thalen agreed. The Varkesh threat will not vanish overnight, but our alliance is stronger for having faced it together. The Zelvorians realized that this hidden war tested more than military might. It challenged their trust, communication, and resolve. In the face of an enemy that thrived on secrecy and discord, humanity's leadership and the coalition's solidarity became a beacon of hope. The struggle was far from over, but the Zelvorians and humans had forged a bond that no shadow could break. The victory over the Varkesh raiders brought a brief moment of respite, but the shadow of conflict still loomed large. As Outpost Theta 9 buzzed with preparations for Further defense, a surprising signal arrived from an unknown source deep within a disputed sector. The transmission was encrypted, but its tone was unmistakably urgent, and it requested an immediate audience with human and Zelvorian leaders. Commander Elena and Captain Thalen exchanged wary glances. Neither expected allies beyond their current coalition to appear so suddenly, especially from a region notorious for hostility and silence. Nevertheless, they agreed to meet the mysterious emissary, hoping this could tip the scales in their favor. The rendezvous took place aboard a neutral station orbiting a dead star. The Zelvorian delegation, alongside human officers, awaited the arrival of the ship, a small, nondescript vessel that seemed out of place among the imposing warships. When the airlock opened, a lone figure stepped forward. Tall and slender, with iridescent skin that shimmered faintly under the station's lights, the alien introduced themselves as Vora of the Zenthari species, a race long believed to be isolationists and largely uninvolved in galactic politics. Vora's voice was calm but resolute. "We have watched your struggle against the Varkesh with concern. They threaten all who value freedom and order. Though we have remained apart, we cannot stand by while their influence spreads." Elena studied Vora carefully. "Why come now? Why offer your aid after so many cycles of silence?" The emissary's eyes gleamed with sincerity. "Because the Varkesh seek to dominate all, including us. Their reach extends further than you realize. Your coalition is the only force capable of halting them. We wish to join your cause." Captain Thalen was intrigued. "Your people have remained distant for centuries. What changed?" Vora's expression grew somber. "The Varkesh's aggression has forced our hand. We have intelligence and technology that could turn the tide, but alone we are vulnerable. The revelation stunned the Zelvorians and humans alike. An ancient, respected race was willing to break its isolation and ally with them against a common enemy. After intense discussions, a fragile but hopeful alliance was formed. The Zenthari shared advanced sensor arrays and cloaking technologies, enabling joint forces to track Varkesh movements with unprecedented accuracy. Training exercises integrated Zenthari tactics with human and Zelvorian strategies, creating a tri-species task force capable of rapid, precise strikes. The alliance also brought cultural exchange. Vora spoke of their people's values, balance, patience, and harmony with the cosmos, offering a fresh perspective that challenged both human pragmatism and Zelvorian caution. Yet the integration was not without difficulties. The Zenthari's deliberate pace and enigmatic communication style sometimes frustrated the more direct humans and the protocol-driven Zelvorians, but all parties understood that compromise was essential. During one joint mission, the task force intercepted a Varkesh convoy transporting illegal weaponry. The operation was swift and effective, combining human firepower, Zelvorian stealth, and Zenthari sensor precision. Afterward, Elena remarked, "This alliance has changed the game." "Together we are stronger than ever," Thalen agreed. "Trust has been our greatest weapon. With the Zenthari joining us, the Varkesh no longer operate in the shadows." Vora nodded, a faint smile touching their lips. "The galaxy is vast, but unity lights the darkest corners." As the coalition expanded, hope spread among allied worlds. The tide against the Varkesh was turning, but the war was far from over. The unexpected alliance reminded all that strength did not come from power alone, but from the courage to reach across divides and stand together. And so, humanity's rule in the galaxy grew, not just through force or technology, but through the bonds forged with those once thought distant or indifferent. The future, uncertain yet promising, shone brighter with each new ally who chose to fight for peace. The coalition's newfound strength brought a surge of optimism. Human, Zelvorian, and Zenthari forces coordinated their efforts with increasing precision, striking at the heart of Varkesh operations. Yet, the enemy was cunning and desperate, refusing to yield. Each victory revealed deeper layers of their network, and the cost of the war became painfully clear. At Outpost Theta 9, Commander Elena convened a high-level meeting. The war room hummed with activity as holographic maps displayed Varkesh strongholds, supply lines, and potential targets. Intelligence indicates the Varkesh have secured a massive weapons facility in the Korin Nebula, Elena reported. If they complete their upgrades, their offensive capabilities will skyrocket. Captain Thalen leaned forward. We must act before they finish. This facility is a linchpin of their power. Vora, the Zenthari emissary, added, Our sensors confirm increased activity. They are preparing for a large-scale assault. The decision was unanimous. A combined strike force would infiltrate the nebula, sabotage the facility, and capture any critical data on the Varkesh's plans. Preparations began immediately. The fleet assembled with an air of determination tempered by the gravity of the mission. Every commander knew this was a turning point. Not just for the war, but for the coalition itself. As the fleet entered the swirling gases of the Korin Nebula, navigation became treacherous. Sensors flickered, and communication lagged. The environment favored the defenders, who had long used the nebula's chaos to their advantage. Human pilots flew with relentless focus, adapting swiftly to shifting conditions. Zelvorian stealth ships slipped through shadows, disabling enemy radars. Zenthari scouts monitored for traps, their patience a perfect match for the hostile terrain. Deep within the nebula, the coalition forces discovered the weapons facility, a sprawling complex shielded by layered defenses and automated drones. The assault began with coordinated strikes. Human bombers targeted shield generators while Zelvorian infiltrators disabled security systems. Zenthari specialists hacked into communication networks, sowing confusion among the defenders. Inside the facility, ground teams fought through corridors filled with Varkesh soldiers. The battle was fierce but measured, each coalition member knowing their role and trusting the others implicitly. Amid the chaos, Elena and Thalen led a strike team toward the central command hub. They encountered heavy resistance but pushed forward, determined to seize control. Elena's comm crackled. We're close to the mainframe. Prepare for data extraction. Suddenly, alarms blared. Varkesh reinforcements poured in, attempting to trap the coalition forces inside. Vora's voice was calm but urgent. We must hold this position. The data is critical. The team fought fiercely, holding the line while technicians uploaded vital intelligence on Varkesh weapon blueprints, supply routes, and future targets. As the upload completed, the coalition commander gave the order to retreat. Despite heavy casualties, the mission was a success. Back at Outpost Theta 9, the data revealed devastating truths. The Varkesh planned to unleash a weapon capable of disrupting entire star systems, an attack that could undo everything the coalition had built. The KU. Revelation galvanized the alliance. Plans shifted from defense to prevention. Resources poured into developing countermeasures and preparing for a decisive confrontation. Elena addressed the coalition leaders. This is our moment to end the threat once and for all. We fight not just for survival, but for the future of every world under our protection. Captain Thalen added, The sacrifices we have made have brought us here. Now we must see this through together. Vora concluded, The galaxy watches. Our unity is a beacon of hope. With renewed purpose, the coalition prepared for the coming battle, one that would determine the fate of the galaxy. The turning point had arrived, and with it, the chance to prove that humanity's rule was not just a matter of power, but of courage, resolve, and the strength found in unity. The galaxy held its breath. Word of the coalition's intelligence leak about the Varkesh superweapon spread quickly, rallying allies and civilians alike. The looming threat cast a shadow across countless star systems, but it also galvanized hope, a hope born from unity forged through struggle. At Outpost Theta 9, Commander Elena stood before the assembled fleet. Rows of ships gleamed under the artificial lights, their crews steeling themselves for what might be the last and most decisive battle of the war. Beside her, Captain Thalen and Vora exchanged solemn nods, 3 leaders bound by trust, ready to face the darkness together. "We have faced uncertainty and sacrifice," Elena's voice echoed through the command hall. "But today, we stand united to protect all that we hold dear. The Varkesh's weapon threatens to unravel the very fabric of our galaxy. We cannot allow that." The plan was audacious, a full-scale assault on the Varkesh stronghold where the weapon was being constructed. It required flawless coordination. Human fleets would engage enemy forces head-on, drawing fire and dividing attention. Zelvorian stealth units would infiltrate to sabotage key systems. Zenthari operatives would disable defenses and provide intelligence in real time. As the fleet advanced, the space around the Varkesh base crackled with energy, the ominous hum of the weapon. Under construction, enemy ships swarmed, desperate to defend their last bastion. The battle erupted with fury. Explosions lit the void as ships clashed in a deadly ballet of lasers and missiles. Human pilots flew with fierce determination, their maneuvers honed through years of conflict. Zelvorian stealth fighters slipped past shields, wreaking havoc within the enemy's ranks. Zenthari sensors guided the coalition's strikes, turning the tide with surgical precision. Inside the facility, Elena led a team of elite operatives through winding corridors. The hum of the weapon grew louder, a reminder of the stakes. Every second counted. They encountered fierce resistance, but the team pressed forward, disabling security measures and planting charges on critical infrastructure. Vora coordinated remotely, guiding them through hidden passages and alerting them to incoming threats. In the weapons core chamber, they found the heart of the device, a massive, pulsating reactor feeding the destructive energy. Elena signaled, the charge detonation. Suddenly, alarms blared. Varkesh commanders had anticipated the sabotage and triggered emergency protocols. The countdown to activation resumed. "We don't have much time," Elena shouted. "Get clear!" The team raced, back through collapsing corridors pursued by enemy forces. Outside, the fleet fought desperately to hold the line against overwhelming numbers. Just as the weapon began to overload, the charges detonated, ripping through the reactor. A shockwave surged outward, disabling the facility and scattering the enemy fleet. Victory was hard-won but complete. In the aftermath, the coalition gathered to honor the fallen and celebrate their survival. The alliance between humans, Zelvorians, and Zenthari was stronger than ever, a testament to what could be achieved when differences were set aside for a common cause. Captain Thalen raised a glass. "We fought not as separate species, but as one. Our unity is the legacy we leave for future generations." Elena smiled, her eyes reflecting the hope of countless worlds. Humanity's rule in this galaxy is not about dominance. It's about leadership through strength, wisdom, and compassion. Vora added quietly, "And about the courage to reach beyond fear, to trust, and to build a future together." The galaxy, once fractured by fear and conflict, now looked toward a horizon bright with possibility. The human story had become intertwined with countless others, a story of resilience, alliance, and hope. The final stand had been fought and won, but the journey was far from over. Together, they would shape the future of the stars.